In the heart of the Caribbean, where turquoise seas shimmer under the sun and quiet power moves behind political doors, one man's story stands above the rest. From the dusty streets of Spanish Town to the mansion-lined hills of Beverly Hills, St. Andrew. Andrew Holness has risen from modest beginnings to become Jamaica's most powerful political figure and one of its wealthiest. He's the Prime Minister, a family man, a political tactician. But behind the titles lies a different story. One of strategy, real estate empires, offshore connections, and growing financial influence. But how did he really do it? Today, I'll tell you the secret behind Andrew Holness's rise to wealth. How he turned public service into personal power. And how he built a fortune and a name that echoes far beyond Jamaica's shores. It's a story of ambition, loyalty, controversy, and calculated success. This is more than a political journey. This is the blueprint of a man who mastered the art of influence and made millions while doing it. This is the Andrew Holness story. Power, politics, and the price of wealth. On July 22nd, 1972, in the historic town of Spanish Town, Jamaica, Andrew Michael Holness entered the world in a time of national change and quiet determination. He was the second of 6 children in a modest, working-class household, where love, structure, and sacrifice were daily rituals. His father, Maurice Holness, was a man of many hats, a farmer by trade, but a sociologist by passion, deeply engaged in studying Jamaican society and its struggles. His mother, Sonia Harvey, served as a civil servant, steady, principled, and devoted to the idea that education could transform lives. Discipline and faith weren't just values in the Holness home, they were a way of life. Chores were done before sunrise, books were studied long into the night, and conversations around the dinner table often drifted from daily routines to Jamaica's challenges and what could be done to fix them. From this environment, a future leader quietly emerged. At St. Catherine High School, young Andrew began to show signs of early brilliance. He wasn't the loudest or the flashiest, but he was always focused, always thinking ahead. He excelled in the classroom, earning the highest honors and graduating as valedictorian. Outside of academics, he captained the school's chess club, a perfect metaphor for a mind built for strategy, patience, and calculated moves. But it wasn't just school pride or personal accolades that fueled him. Holness was already developing a deeper vision, one rooted in service, upliftment, and national progress. That vision sharpened during his years at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. There, while pursuing a bachelor's and later a Master of Science degree in development studies, Holness immersed himself in the politics of policy, economics, and public administration. He wasn't just studying governance, he was preparing to shape it. The young man from Spanish Town was no longer just dreaming of change. He was learning how to make it real. By the early 1990s, the wheels of ambition were already turning. Fresh from university, Andrew Holness joined the Jamaica Labour Party, a decision that would define the next 3 decades of his life. Even then, he was different. Not just a party loyalist, but a strategist, someone who understood both policy and the power behind it. Holness took on the role of executive director at the Volunteers Organization for Uplifting Children, known simply as Vouch. There, he began to build a reputation, not just as a young politician, but as someone deeply committed to Jamaica's next generation. His leadership at the charity caught the attention of none other than Edward Seager, Jamaica's longest-serving Member of Parliament and a former Prime Minister. Seaga became both mentor and gatekeeper, opening doors that would change Holness's life forever. In 1997, at just 25 years old, Holness entered electoral politics with a bold run for Parliament in St Andrew West Central. It wasn't an easy race. His first swearing-in was delayed due to a recount. Then came a tribunal-ordered re-election. But Holness was undeterred. In 1998, he returned to the polls and won again. A second victory, not just for his constituency, but for a young man who had now cemented his place in the national arena. The chess player had made his opening move, and he was only getting started. Behind every political speech, behind every policy announcement, was a growing private empire. While the public saw Andrew Holness at press conferences and state events, behind closed doors, another story was unfolding. In 2016, Holness earned a base salary of just over $55,000, along with a $1.2 million Jamaican dollar travel allowance. Modest by international standards, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. Real estate, stocks, strategic holdings. By 2020, the Holness family's declared business assets topped 130 million Jamaican dollars, fueled in large part by property development and investment activity. Juliette Holness, a chartered accountant and MP herself, played a central role. Through her company, JJ Development and Holdings Limited, she helped manage the family's growing portfolio. Real estate income alone surged from 2 million to 3 million Jamaican dollars between 2019 and 2020. There were also foreign investments, US stocks, bonds. In 2020, they reported earning over $16,000 in overseas investments and held nearly $113,000 in securities. And then there were the offshore accounts. In 2011, Holness transferred ownership of his Beverly Hills home to a company registered in St. Lucia, named ADMAT, after his sons Adam and Matthew, a trust, a legal structure, but also a move that raised eyebrows. For some, it was a smart estate planning strategy. For others, a red flag. The line between politics and business was getting thinner. Behind every great leader stands a partner whose strength and vision help shape the journey. For Andrew Holness, that partner is Juliette Holness, his wife, business collaborator, and political ally. Juliette's influence reaches far beyond the family home. She is a force in both the political and business arenas, carving out her own path of leadership and success. A chartered accountant by profession, Juliette brings sharp financial acumen to the family's business operations. Together, the Holnesses have built a substantial real estate portfolio, with Juliette playing a pivotal role in managing these ventures. Her expertise as a certified public accountant and real estate developer has been instrumental in expanding their holdings and securing their financial future. In 2016, Juliette made history alongside her husband when she was elected to Parliament, representing the St. Andrew East rural constituency. This milestone marked the first time a married couple served simultaneously in Jamaica's Parliament, symbolizing a partnership rooted in shared dedication to public service and community development. Juliette's political journey has been marked by steady progress and increasing responsibility. In 2023, she reached a significant career milestone when she was elected Speaker of the House of Representatives, one of the highest positions in Jamaican governance. This role not only reflects her own capabilities, but also solidifies the Holness family's influence within the country's political landscape. Throughout her tenure, Juliet has demonstrated a commitment to good governance, transparency, and social progress. Her leadership in the House has been praised for its fairness and professionalism, earning respect from colleagues across the political spectrum. Together, Andrew and Juliet Holness represent a partnership that blends political ambition with business savvy, reinforcing each other's strengths. Their combined efforts extend beyond politics and economics. They embody a vision of modern Jamaican leadership focused on progress, stability, and family legacy. Juliet Holness is more than the Prime Minister's spouse. She is a leader in her own right, an essential partner behind the power. Despite controversies and scrutiny, he has maintained a commitment to social programs and philanthropy, investing in education, health, and community development. These efforts reflect a vision that goes beyond politics, aiming to uplift future generations and address long-standing social inequalities. As the years progress, Holness's legacy remains in the making, a complex blend of progress, power, and public perception. His influence extends beyond Jamaica's borders, impacting regional policy and international relations. Whether celebrated or critiqued, Andrew Holness is undeniably a defining figure in Jamaica's modern history, and his story continues to unfold with each decision and milestone. What is the true cost of leadership? How do power, wealth, and responsibility intersect in the life of a nation's leader? Andrew Holness's story forces us to ask these questions and reflect on the complex realities behind political power. From his early days in a working-class family to the halls of Jamaica's parliament, Holness has demonstrated ambition and resilience. But with great power comes intense scrutiny. Financial success, real estate holdings, and political influence have all sparked debate and controversy. Is this the story of a leader building a better future, or a man navigating the fine line between public service and private gain? His legacy is still unfolding. Supporters highlight his commitment to education, philanthropy, and national development, while critics demand greater transparency and accountability. Ultimately, the judgment will come from the people, those who live the results of his policies and leadership every day.